By the time collectors ripped open their first wax packs of 1988 Topps baseball cards, we were pretty sure that all the roads we'd travel in the future would be paved with gold. Cardboard gold. After all, the 1987 Topps set, with its wood borders, had exploded in value over the previous summer. Not only were McGwire and Jose Canseco rookie cards fetching several dollars apiece on the secondary market, but the checklist was loaded from top to bottom with buck-plus cards. So expectations were high in the spring of 1988, but it didn't really matter what Topps spat out. We would gobble up all the cards like jelly beans on Easter morning and regurgitate them a few years later when it was time to buy a car or a house or pay for college tuition. It was a financial win-win for us and Topps. But of course, we were still collectors, and we were anxious to see what the old gum company had been busy doing over the winter. After the successful experiment in material science the year before, many of us expected something equally outlandish in 1988. As it turned out, Topps filled our wax packs not with birthday cake borders or blue, red, black Atari screens. Fleer and Donruss filled those voids, but a clean, classic design. In fact, had the years not proven that there was enough of each card to build the first Martian land bridge, 1988 Topps might be right along the 1957s and 1967s as some of the purest cards in the pre-premium era. Watch out for that Steve Balboni Centerfold. Just like those all-time great Topps sets, the 1988 issue focused heavily on the photo on the front of each card. And while the images weren't quite the high-definition masterpieces that would become de rigueur with the advent of the Upper Deck in 1989, they are generally crisp and much brighter than you will find in other 1980s issues. Each photo is set off by a thin piping that complements the team's name, presented in large colored block capital letters across the card front. In most cases, the player's head or bat overlay part of the team lettering, imparting a three-dimensional feel. The Topps logo makes an understated appearance in the lower left-hand corner in black or white lettering, depending on the shade of the underlying photo. The only other design element is a colored diagonal stripe in the lower right-hand corner, containing the player name in white or black capital block letters. A thick white border surrounds the whole shebang. Overall, card fronts have a clean appearance that is reminiscent of a single-subject magazine cover of the era, such as a hobby-focused baseball card monthly. You have to wonder if the similarities are just a coincidence of the 80s style, a coincidence of timing, or a case of art imitating art. Maybe Cy Berger was a BBCM fan. Regardless of how the fonts got how they got, 1988 card backs were pure Topps. Each horizontal reverse is printed on a burnt orange background and leads off with a row of plainer orange baseballs across the top. Overlaid on those spheroids are a card number, player name, biographical information, and stats, position, and Topps logo. The heart of the card back, as always, is a rectangle of complete stats. For younger players, this includes minor league numbers, and where room allows, an extra text section with interesting tidbits about the subject. Did you know, for example, that Mark Grant was a clothes salesman? Load up on Shane Rawley before he explodes. Some guys were just so good back in the 1980s, though, that not even the human interest boxes on the back of their baseball cards were enough to satisfy diehard fans. To help us get our fill of the superstars of the day, Topps included several subsets and special cards in their 792 card offering in 1988. Among these were Record Breakers, number 1 through 8, Managers, starting with Sparky Anderson at card 14 and spanning the rest of the set, Checklists, 6 in all, appearing at intervals of a roughly 120 cards, All-Stars, 386 to 407, and Turn Back the Clock, 661 to 665. In addition, each team was represented with a leaders card that showcased one or more of their stars in a fade, a dream white cloud on the front, and statistical leaders from 1987 on the back. Finally, the Topps All-Star Rookie Trophy made an encore appearance in the lower right-hand corner for big-time rookies from the previous season, including Mark McGwire, 580, Kevin Seitzer, 275, and Ellis Burks, 269. The Matt Notes Retirement Plan. Those guys, of course, were top of the mind for collectors as we tore into our packs before opening day. This was late 1980s after all, and nothing was more important in the hobby than the next big rookie card. After the embarrassment of rookie riches that the 1987 set afforded, we knew it would be tough for the 88s to deliver the same sort of thrill of pack exhilaration. Still, there was reason for us to be optimistic. In addition to Seitzer and Burks, the 1988 top set featured first-year pasteboards for Ken Caminati 64, Todd Benzinger 96, Matt Williams 372, Sam Horn 377, Jay Bell 637, Matt Notes 645, Jose Lynn 767. All of those players either already had a promising season under their belt, Noakes and Horn, or were considered big-timers just waiting to happen. Nearly 30 years later, though, the plum of the 1988 top set is the Tom Glavine rookie card at 779, with Williams also putting together a superstar career. Another interesting swatch of cardboard belongs to Joe Mcgrane, who debuted at 388 and these days is a color commentator for the Major League Baseball Network. Even Glavine's epic Hall of Fame career, though, was not enough to overcome the mountain of cards and keep the prices of his rookie moving upward. Today you can find them ungraded all day long for less than $5, and perfect PSA 10s will set you back only $25 each. Most of the other big rookie names from the set never quite reached the heights we envisioned for them, and just about all of them can be found in the common bins today. With nearly 800 cards from which to choose, the good news for more modern collectors is that the 1988 top set has a lot more going for it than the rookie cards of a former hockey player and one of Washington National's disposed managers. Like every other issue of the era, this offering is loaded with all-time greats like Robin Yount, number 165, Nolan Ryan, 250, Mike Schmidt, 600, George Brett, 700, and dozens of others who helped make the game great in the 80s and beyond. In terms of dollar value, none of these cards would have made you rich, even if you had hoarded them in a hermetically sealed bunker for the last 3 decades. The best of the bunch is Ryan, and his market prices mirror Glavine's, topped out about $25 in gem near-mint flabbed copies. Value is in the eye of the befolder. Of course, money is only one measure of value, and while collectors in the 1980s were supremely focused on future dollars, we also wanted choices. After all, for decades before Fleer busted Topps monopoly in 1980, we were stuck with whatever the old gum company designed to offer up in any particular year. By 1988, though, we had 4 base sets from which to choose, and we were eager for more. For their part, Topps was eager to give us more. It was a match made in card heaven, and the access began with a base set. Topps wanted their cards everywhere, and they wanted to give us plenty of choices about how to acquire them. Most of those choices included a little something extra in the form of insert cards. Here is a brief rundown of the pack types that we had at our disposal in the summer of 1988, along with the lagniappe of each case. Wax packs, touting the customary 15 cards per pack and packaged 36 to a box. Wax packs also contained send-in premiums that you could collect and mail away in exchange for 10 of 60 possible special glossies. Wax pack boxes also showcased panels of 4 blue-bordered pasteboards, with a total of 16 box-bottom cards available, 4 different panels. Rack packs. These were traditional long packs that hung on pegs in retail outlets, each offering 42 base cards plus 22 different glossy all-stars, and packaged 24 to a box. Cello packs. Each cello pack contained 28 cards and a stick of gum, no other bonus for these babies. Jumbo packs. These cellophane wrap packs featured a whopping 100 cards plus 1 of 22 different glossy rookies. Vending packs. 500 cards and an anything is possible brick for about $10, no bonus required. Factory sets. All 792 cards wrapped up in one colorful Christmas box. No muss, no fuss. But Topps wasn't done yet. Because if you're willing to branch out from the base product, you can find unusual and in some cases prescient offerings. And among the off the main set that Topps pumped out in 1988 were the Topps Traded set, issued at the end of the year featuring rookies and traded stars as usual, but also members of Team USA, including Robin Ventura, Tino Martinez, and Jim Abbott. Mini leaders with a diminutive 2 1/8 by 3-inch standalone set, 77 cards in all, issued in their own wax pack. Topps Big was a throwback and a harbinger, oversized at 2 5/8 by 3 3/4 inches, and issued in 3 series of 88 cards each. The Bigs were available standalone in their own boxes. Their horizontal design also drew heavily on Topps issues from 1955 and 1956, and in many ways was the seedlings for the now popular Archive series. Tiffany sets were back as exact parallels to the base and traded sets for the 5th year. Issued on premium white stock with a high gloss finish, Tiffany's greased the skids for the super cards that would hit the market in the early 1990s. There were also Topps coins, Gallery of Champions metal cards, stickers and sticker cards, and even an experimental cloth set. At some point during the gluttony of cardboard, the creative minds at Topps must have taken a breath, stepped back and admired their work, and come to the conclusion, these cards are beautiful and we need more of them, and they need to be bigger and of higher dimensions. Hence that summer's back-to-school supply shelves featured a special treat, full-size 2-pocket folders that were exact replicas of the normal 1988 Topps cards, except for the folding part naturally. The set featured 5 players from each of the 26 Major League Baseball teams, for a total of 130 different folders. It seemed that if you could dream of it in 1988, Topps already had you covered in one way or another. Variations on a theme. Perhaps the only trend in baseball cards during the 1980s that could hold a candle, perish the thought, to the rookie card craze was a hunt for high-ticket variations. By 1988, most of the hysteria surrounding era cards like C. Nettles and Al Robrowski had begun to fade into the background. But then Topps introduced us to a new classic that would become part of our collecting lexicon, Comstock White Letter. Journeyman pitcher Keith Comstock had found his way from the San Francisco Giants to the San Diego Padres during the 1987 season, and Padres was supposed to show up in blue letters on 1988 Topps cards. But Comstock's Padres showed up in white, and then blue, and somewhere along the line in yellow. The white letter variation was the sensation for several years, but today sells for just a few dollars. The yellow version seems to be truly rare and is hardly ever found for sale. Topps wasn't done, though, because they showed the wrong player on the front of Al Leiter's card. Given that Leiter was a rising phenom in the summer of 1988, it's not surprising that the card pictured his brother Mark and labeled Al, and the subsequent corrected version caused quite a stir in the hobby. Today, neither one is worth much, but they're a fun pair to have on your card shelf. In fact, if your definition of fun includes chasing down countless major and very minor variations, then the 1988 Topps set is a great choice for your next collecting target. From swapping brothers to errant print types to color variations, front and back, the set has enough variety to keep you busy for a while. And with continued scrutiny by collectors, the next big undiscovered error corrected pair is just inside the next wax flap. Both Junk Wax Gems and Trading Card Database have sold the list of 1988 Topps errors and variations to get you started on your quest. Get 'em while they're hot! For all that 1988 Topps set has going for it, from a classic design with strong photography to a seamlessly endless variety of distribution methods, adjuncts and parallels, the cards just aren't very popular with collectors today. The problem, of course, lies in the bugaboo of market value, supply and demand. Those two forces represent two big strikes against 1988 Topps. Like every mainstream set from the era, the base card set seems to have grown more plentiful over the years, and the relative dearth of impact rookie cards has stifled the retro chase factor that we sometimes see with junk wax product. All of which leads to the present situation wherein you can find 3-decade-old cards for around $5 per wax box or complete set. Sometimes you can score them for much less. It's a pretty amazing bargain for cards that might have been considered among the best Topps ever produced if they had just shown a bit of restraint, or if a few of the 1986 rookies had been delayed by a year. As it stands, you better grab your 1988 Topps baseball cards while they're hot, because like styrofoam in a landfill, prices like these can't last more than a few thousand centuries. Like our video? Then like our videos and subscribe to our channel. WaxPackGods.com